The year is coming to an end. It's the perfect time to take stock of your feelings, to see what is working and what isn't. The Japanese did this recently. Their government held an anxiety survey just to see how everyone is doing, and the result is a little concerning. Nearly 80% of the island nation is anxious. This sounds a lot like a lot because it is. This is a record high level of anxiety for Japan. Sure, the Japanese have a range of issues. They have a shortage of matcha and an excess of sushi. But jokes aside, why is Japan so anxious? And how do they compare to other nations? Here's a report.
When you think of Japan, what comes to mind? Maybe Mount Fuji, cherry blossoms, or even samurai swords. Well, what about anxiety? We ask because Japan has recorded record high levels of anxiety. A government survey was held recently and it says that 78.2% Japanese people are anxious. This is up from 75.9% just last year. The Japanese increasingly feel that their standard of living is declining. 64% of them are worried about their health. 63% fear retirement. They are concerned about future income and savings. In fact, 64% are unhappy with what they earn. This anxiety doesn't come as a surprise because Japan faces an array of issues. This includes an excess sushi problem and a matcha shortage crisis. But that's not what we're talking about. This has been a tumultuous year for the island nation. In February, Japan unexpectedly slipped into a recession. The yen has been on the skids for years, but this summer it hit a record low. And lately, inflation has persisted in the country. It accelerated last month and prices rose by 2.7%, which is above the 2% inflation target of the Bank of Japan.
Every month I receive notices of prices increasing. Right now, we have no choice but to endure and continue making delicious food. It's our job to bow to our customers and get through this period.
Just like ramen shops, companies offering goods and services that are in demand are able to transfer costs to product prices and see their sales grow even if they raise their prices to some level. On the other hand, those struggling to pass on higher costs are being weeded out.
So, rising prices are a major pain point, and so is the roller coaster economy. The Japanese also face uncertain job prospects. All these factors have created the perfect storm of unhappiness. In fact, the Japanese are so unhappy that they don't want to live too long. Recently, a survey was conducted across 6 countries: Japan, the United States, China, South Korea, Germany, and Finland. People were asked how they felt about longevity, if they wanted to live to be 100. And this is what the survey found. Japan had the most number of people who were unhappy with the prospect. Only 21% of Japanese people would be happy to reach the age of 100. And just 27% of Japanese want to live to be 100. Compare that to 52% of Germans, 53% of South Koreans, 58% of Finns, 65% of Chinese, and 66% of Americans. Happiness in Japan is witnessing a downward trend. Yes, the economy plays a role, but there are cultural reasons as well. From highly competitive education to long working hours. So much so that they have a word for death by overwork. It is called karoshi. Japan also has a falling birth rate and marriage rate. This year, their population fell for the 15th consecutive year. It's now at a record low. Japan has a cocktail of problems and way too much sushi to pair with it. No wonder the country is anxious.